and welcome back to another episode here today on ESGNet, and this is the Los Angeles Chargers franchise. This is the Chargers update. As you listen to that music in there in the background, that is music of well, I guess like stereotypical type music of Britain. Yes, we're going over the pond this upcoming week for the Week 7 matchup, I believe, against the Tennessee Titans. There you see our injury report right there. Of course, a lot of those guys, of course, will not be seen in the remainder of the season. As for the Titans there, well, they got a couple guys there that could be coming back here in the next couple of weeks. No big names there, but they do have several players with some tricep tears and also an ACL tear and a broken ankle. So not really, like I said, not real big names there we have to worry about. Pretty much Tennessee's squad is going to be pretty well taken care of being on the field here. So take a look at some of the latest news around the league. Of course, we had that big game there that we were able to have there in Cleveland just last week there. 38-7 was the final score in that one. And it was nice to be able to bounce back after that brutal, tough loss that we had at home against the Raiders. Now, we'll see the Raiders here in just about another 2 weeks. So hopefully when we go to the black hole, we will be able to take care of some business and take care of them in that game. But before we get to that, we'll actually talk about a lot about what's going on this upcoming game here. Like I said, we're going to go to Wembley Stadium, and we'll be playing the Tennessee Titans in that game. It should be a fun game here indeed. Marcus Mariota, of course, and company will be on the field, and we'll see there's some of those key players that they'll have, but they're both on offense and defense coming up here in just a bit. But first, we're going to take a look at some of the passing numbers here. You see Philip Rivers, 1,473 yards there for the season, 10 touchdowns and 8 interceptions there. And he has completed 62% of his passes here this season, but he has been sacked 16 times. And that offensive line has been pretty much our Achilles heel here, with the exception of the big game that we had there last week against Cleveland. It really was exposed there in that Raiders game, where we were just not getting much protection, or the protection that we needed to get the ball down the field. Melvin Gordon only has 3 rushing touchdowns here so far right now. They say he's on pace for 1,000 yards. I don't see that. He's really got to pick up some yardage here if that's gonna happen. I would say the next few games here, he's gonna have to get 100 plus here. Right now, currently has 457 for the season. There you see the rest of the numbers there in the receiving category, or the rushing category there. Take a look at receiving here. Keenan Allen over there, he's on pace for 1,000. If you take a look at the numbers there, 485 yards there, 5 touchdowns here for him this season. He will still be our number 2 receiver, as he was demoted after that. Honestly, it was a tough catch, but nonetheless a catch that he should have made there in that Raiders game. But Travis Benjamin will now hold, of course, that number 1 spot there in the wide receiver position. Antonio Gates there, the statesman there for the Chargers. There you see 336 yards so far for the season, 35 touches for the ball, and 1 receiving touchdown. And Travis Benjamin, 288 yards, 21 receptions, and 3 touchdowns for the season so far. And then you see Jurrell Williams. He's been pretty clutch here. When we need him in third down, stuff like that. He's been making some pretty good plays there, and we're hoping to open up the playbook a little bit more to get him more involved here in the next coming week. So there you see the receiving numbers there. And of course, if you want to see more, just pause the video, check those out. But for the most part here, it's been a rough go for us. We haven't been able to move the ball on the ground as we want to, so we can open up the passing game. We've got receivers there that we can really go out and move it. Thing is, we're just having a tough time trying to move the ball down the field, and that's becoming a real big issue for us. Just take a look at the sacks there. Pouncey there only gets allowed 1 sack so far here, but There you see the other two guys there. They've let up 3 so far here. And of course, the rest of those, if you take a look at them, if you go with the numbers with his sacks that he's had so far, 13 is the total, and compare those to his right here, yeah, a lot of those were cover sacks there as he was getting out of the pocket there and trying to look down the field. I believe he has there was 9 so as total there from his offensive line that have given up. So compare that to the rest of those. 11, 12, 13, about 4 cover sacks outside of him scrambling like that were pretty much his fault. So offensive line definitely needs to be looked at, and that's something we are kind of looking at for the draft wise. We'll have more about that, about the draft and what we'll be looking for when it comes to scouting and stuff like that here. Here in a couple of episodes from now, we'll have that for you guys here on the channel. Yeah, look at defensively numbers here, and there you see Joey Bosa and of course Melvin Gordon, your 2 defensive players there on the line, having a pretty decent season here. Could be a little bit better. Ingram right there has 8 sacks for the season. He's pretty on pace now here. He probably I can see him finishing the season with 15 or 16 before too long here. Bosa somewhere probably I would say he's getting close to the double digits. I can see him getting close to 10 to 12 sacks before the end of the season. But those two, we would like to see those two just be a lot more aggressive in the pass rushing. They have been, especially in that game there against Cleveland. They did a great job there. We're hoping we'll see if they can do the same thing against Tennessee here coming up here in this next episode. But take a look at the rest of your numbers there. King and Hayworth just been awesome there in the interception department there, and we're hoping that we can see more of that here as the weeks go on here, and they'll be able to do a better job. I mean, they've been doing a great job there reading the plays and reacting and stuff like that to the ball when it's thrown in their direction. So corners, very happy with those guys so far here. Defense as a whole, I mean, really could be better. Of course, there's always room for improvement. But I have to say right now, for the couple games, with the exception of the Raiders game, I think we've been pretty solid. We've been able to shut down teams and not let them score, or at least not let them get back into the game, and not making having the game be close or anything like that. So I think we did a great job so far in that. But yeah, our offensive line needs to be worked on really bad, and I think that's something we'll have to look at here as we go along in the rest of the season here, because if we can't move the ball and we're putting all the pressure on the defense there, that is not good for us. I want us to be able to move the ball offensively, and if the defense can score points, hey, that's great, awesome. But the defense job is try to get going, get on the field 3 and out and get good field position for the offense, so the offense can move the ball down the field. And that's not exactly what's happening. It's kind of, been kind of stalling some couple drives there. And then, of course, too, Philip Rivers not doing a good job there reading the ball. Of course, he does have 8 interceptions for the season compared to his 10 touchdowns he's got so far for the season. We really got to make sure we're protecting him and giving him enough time to look down the field. So we'll take a look at here at the kicking, or in the punting and kicking there. Really nothing to complain about there. As for kicks returns and punt returns, we do need to try to. I'm hoping that we'll get at least one this season. Build one, run one back, a punt return or kick return or something like that. But it happens. So we'll have to see what the just try to get our guys in that position there. They can get some good field blocking down the field there in special teams, and just try to do what we can there with what we have on special teams. So special teams not really exciting this year. Not something that you can scream out there and say, hey, that we're doing this good on special teams, but we can get better. So Chargers right now currently 5-1 right now, in power rankings right now are 3rd overall. Then you see the Chiefs and Broncos both have 3-3, and the Raiders 1-5. They have not. They just recently lost the game here last week, so they have not won a game since defeating us just a week ago. So, or 2 weeks ago. We'll take a look at the Titans. There you see 3-3 there. They're in third place right now in the AFC South. Texans and Jaguars right now 4-2 in that division. Take a look at the Titans there. You see they won the first game against the Dolphins, and then they go ahead and lose 2 straight there to Tennessee, or to Texans at home, and then Jaguars on the road there in Jacksonville for then they end up losing another game against the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles, 28-16. But then come back and win 2 straight against the Bills in Buffalo, and then the Ravens at home in that close game there, 14-11. I'm hoping that we won't have a close game like that. I'm hoping that at least by 2 possessions. I think we have that confidence that we can get in there, especially with a confidence builder like a game coming off of the Browns game there. I'm really hoping we'll stay on cloud 9 and be able to move the ball down the field and give some good field protection to Phillip Rivers. So you see what our strategy is for offense and defense there. 10 sacks, or 10th in sacks right now on defense, and 32nd in interceptions. So we will definitely have to watch out how we fare against their defense there, and how they're going to really prevent them from getting a hold of Rivers. Offensively, for the Titans there, I believe they're in the top 20 there in passing yards, and they're 22nd in rushing yards there. So they're not running the ball as much, but they are passing the ball pretty well there. So that's going to be a day for the corners and safeties to really be on top of things. We probably have to play a lot of I would say probably some zone coverage there. That's going to really help us out. We're being told by the scouts there, at least in some cases there, they like to run screen passes there. So that is definitely something we're going to have to watch out for, especially with the halfback they have, Dion Lewis in the back field. He has 90 carries, 315 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown, but he has 8 receptions, 128 yards from the receiving position there, and no passing touchdowns yet. So he's been really good with they obviously have been great with the screen passes there. So that's something we're gonna have to watch out for and make sure they do not get too comfortable doing that to us there. So I would say try to blitz them as much as we possibly can. Excuse me, or maybe not as much as we possibly can, but just get some couple of blitz plays in there, just kind of keep Marcus Mariota in check. Currently right now his QB rating is at 94.5, 1,435 yards passing so far, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 18 times, so his offensive line was not that protective, a little worse than ours. So we'll try to see if we can take advantage of that and try to put some pressure on him, get him to throw the ball, get him unsettled in the pocket, and we'll try to get him to have a bad day. So that's what we're going to do for him. Of course, he's a star. There you see his first player profile there. So he's going to get the XP at the high rate there. So like I said, we can manage him, keep him controlled. I think we'll have a pretty good day there. It's going to have to really get his offensive line kind of just off kilter there. Like I said, Dion Lewis there, you see there, running back, 90 carries, 315 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 20 broken tackles this season. Not the best hot start that he's having right now this season, but the 7-year man from Pittsburgh is definitely trying to help his backfield, help out in the backfield as much as possible. Like I said, they've been running a lot of screen formations with him, and that's something we're going to be careful on and definitely watch out for when he's on the field there. They're in the backfield there. So he's definitely a guy, like I said, could really eat up some yardage there if they're able to pull off those screen routes there on us during that game. take a look at our Delanie Walker, 12th-year man from Central Missouri. And he has had a season his season so far, 18 receptions, 205 yards, and 1 touchdown for him for this season. He is quick. Just take a look there, ability to get XP. So he's definitely a guy that if Marcus Mariota needs some help, that is his release valve. And he's going to definitely be a guy that, so far right now, he is the guy that's been really keying on passing wise and whatnot, and definitely a person that Marcus Mariota feels comfortable throwing to. So, Walker is going to be a guy that he's going to be a threat, more of a vertical threat, at least what we've been told by a lot of different scouts around the league. When it comes to playing Delanie, he's a deep threat. Route type of player, so we'll have to really keep our linebackers and our corners on him as much as possible. Like I said, in some cases we may have to play some zone cover 2 zone on him, and just watch. Guys don't have to just be careful while watching which zones he goes through, and just stay on top of them as they can. As for defensively, you'll see Casey there, 18 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks for the season there. He is definitely a type of power rusher there that can go in there and just really give us a hard time and not think about it twice at all, as he would like to get a hold of Phil Rivers, and especially with the way the offensive line has been playing here lately. In the last couple of weeks here, they have not been doing so great when it comes to opposing teams, edge rushers there. So we're going to have to make sure we're going to keep an eye on him as much as possible. And also, deep threat wise here, they got a pretty good free safety out there, Kevin Byard. He has 33 tackles, 33 tackles on just a half a sack this season, but he is definitely one of those guys that has good zone coverage. He can cover the zones pretty well there. So trying to throw deep against him, just somebody we just have to check down and make sure we don't have to, be careful, be cautious of where he's at, and try to make sure we don't throw in his area. When it comes to throwing it into the secondary, especially going deep passes wise. So I would say there's probably a good matchup between him and Benjamin, or him covering after, if anything, Keenan Allen for this game there. So when it comes to deep, the deep throws, stuff like that, they'll have to watch out, especially up the middle. And then finally, Brian Orakpo, longtime player here, 9-year guy from Texas. And of course, about Orakpo, he is just a guy who just loves getting the sacks. So far, no sacks here this season so far, but he has 32 tackles, 2 tackles for loss there. And this will be definitely a game. He has been quiet for the season here. This will probably be a game that will probably get him going and rattle it up. And like I said, just try to avoid him up the middle there. He is right side outline linebacker, but at times he can change things up in certain formations. He'll play up the middle, and he's definitely a guy that can, if the ball is going his way, he is definitely a guy that can go up and snag it and get an interception. So up the middle there is going to be kind of dangerous for us. So and also not to mention getting us in the rushing department there. He definitely can wrap up our halfback, Gordon and company there in the backfield if need be. So that is pretty much it for the preview of the game here. We're hoping it should be a fun one here, going across the pond. Cannot wait to see these guys in action, and we'll see how we do with our 6-1 record. We'll put our 6-1 record on the line here and see if we can get out of jolly old London with a 7-1 record going into that bye week that we have coming up here also too. So that's going to be very important for us, and you'll see a lot of action here coming up very soon here on the channel. You guys, I believe the video should be up tomorrow if not probably the next day or two. So thank you guys. Stay tuned for more Chargers update here, and stay tuned for more Chargers franchise here on ESGNet. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to hit that bell notification so you guys can be notified when videos of this series or any other series is uploaded to the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. Check out the links down below in the description, and follow us there on social media to check out what's going on here on the channel and what's going on in the world of sports gaming and in sports in general. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep each other healthy, and I will see you guys next time.